Hello and welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Waiting for Godot, starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters. All right, before I jump into this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me grow this channel, and that's what I want to do. All right, so normally, the last reviews I've been doing for the last few months, I've actually sat down and written scripts that I could then follow to really make sure that I was pronouncing names correctly, to make sure I was getting my facts straight, because I was criticized for sometimes just being too off the cuff and getting facts wrong. Well, you know, I just got back. I saw a Wednesday matinee of this show, and I decided to just sit down and record this review because I am feeling a lot of feels and having a lot of thoughts. And this is going to be a long review because I got a lot to say. And I'm probably going to pronounce things wrong and get facts wrong, but let's jump into this. So, Waiting for Godot, or Godot, but we're doing Godot in this production. And I'm fine with either because I don't care. But this is the last time I saw this play, it was starring McKellen and Patrick Stewart. And it was on Broadway. Prior to that, there was a production starring Nathan Lane and Bill Irwin, and then there was another production which also had Bill Irwin in it as Lucky, but it starred Steve Martin and Robin Williams. Now, what this play, in my opinion, requires is two vaudeville clowns. That's what it needs. And because if you look at these people who have played, they're comic actors. I mean, yes, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, not so much comedic actors, but they're good at comedy, and they were fantastic. And that was the first time I think I'd seen the play live. I've seen clips of Robin Williams and Steve Martin, and the dialogue, this play doesn't have a narrative that you can follow. It's really about these two characters and their relationship and the dialogue. And if you get two comic actors who can handle that, the play can be very entertaining. And sure, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters are sorts of clowns in their Bill and Ted movies. They're basically clowns. But when we think of the caliber of stage actors that I just listed, these guys got some big boots to fill. And yes, pun intended, because Gogo's boots don't fit so well. His Gogo boots don't fit so well. Okay, so we have Keanu in the role of Estragon, we have Alex Winters in the role of Vladimir, and then as Pozzo, we have Brandon Jay Durden and Lucky Michael Patrick Thornton. So the set design is very striking. It's this huge like wooden tube, like they're in a drainage pipe, but yet it's very clean. And that's the main thing on the set. There are no props in this show. We're pantomiming all of the props. Jamie Lloyd is the director, who recently did the revival of Sunset Boulevard, where I stated that I thought he did a good job with Sunset Boulevard, partly because he didn't think it was a good musical, so he was willing to just throw everything out the window and do whatever he wanted with it, and I actually quite enjoyed it. This play is a classic. I often do wonder myself, though, with some of these classic plays like this, that if someone wrote it today, would they have trouble getting it produced? Probably yes. But this is a classic play, and anyone who goes to see this who is not familiar with the play, I pity the fool, because you're going to be so confused by this. You're going to be like, this is a classic play? Why? It's not interesting, it's not funny. I sat up in the balcony. Maybe you had to be really close, or maybe the biggest fans of Keanu and Alex were sitting in the orchestra. I heard some laughter happening down in the orchestra. No one was laughing around me. The balcony was very quiet. And this play should be funny. Okay, let's talk about good things. The set is perplexing, but yet very cool at the same time. The set is just this huge tube, and then they lower a light behind it, so they're like blinding the audience, and the actors are in silhouette. The costumes are really cool. I like how they've put Keanu in an ill-fitting suit that looks a little too small for him. He's talking about his boots being too small at the beginning. They've put Alex Winters in kind of a suit that looks a little too big for him. I think all of this works. We've got the typical bowler hats on Pozzo and Lucky. The costumes, I think, are good. The lighting that happens and the way they're set up for little photo moments in this giant tube sitting on the edge, hiding behind the back side of it. Take a photo, beautiful stage pictures. But I don't know how this set is serving the narrative. I mean, I'm sure this play, everyone says, people say about this play, it really can be about anything. It could be about religion. It can be about politics. It can be about humanity. It can be like, there's so many things it can be about because it's very philosophical in nature. And there's a lot of conversations about things that could just be interpreted so many different ways. So I guess, sure, we can interpret the set however we want, but this is a very unusual set. Normally it's very dark and black and dirty, and there's a tree that's very prominent, and there's a road. And this does have a kind of a road. It's a path going down the center of this tube. Anyhow, so the set is cool, but I don't understand how it was serving the play or these actors. There were two big laughs, really big laughs, and it was both Bill and Ted references. There's one where he added a line and said something like in the past, in the 90s, which got a big laugh, and then they did a little air guitar moment later on in the play, and that got the biggest laugh of the whole night. And that's a cheap laugh, and there should be much bigger laughs just with Samuel Beckett's writing, okay? Just a little history about this play that I know. It was originally written in French, and I didn't know that but the girl sitting next to me was French. And we was talking to her, and I was like, oh, it was in French first. He's an Irish playwright, but he wrote it in French first, and then he translated it to English. And anyhow, but she seemed okay with the production, but she's French, and she wasn't laughing. That's the real key. Okay, so were the performances bad? No. But with this play, mediocre or okay performances just don't cut it. They don't. Because otherwise the play is really boring. And okay, so was I bored? Yes, I was very bored. This play was not funny. And the visuals only last for a couple seconds and they stand in a place for a long time. So we're going to get into confusing now. One, I'm confused how someone thought this was a good idea. These guys haven't been together in forever. It's such a throwback. And they're not known, yes, they're funny in that movie, but they're not known for being comedic actors. And if they had done this play, now I'm not saying this is a good idea, but if they had played done this play as Bill and Ted, probably would have been funnier because those guys are clowns. And it actually would have been interesting to have them like with their California, yo, dude, speak, however they talk. Maybe that would have made the play funny. I don't know. It wasn't funny. I do have to say that Brandon Jay Durden as Pozzo is great. He's a black man, but yet he was doing this southern accent that reminded me of like a plantation owner. But it fit the character really well. And I thought he was great. But the problem is he was staged in such a confusing way by Jamie Lloyd that it was fighting against his performance. I would love to see Brandon Jay Durden in a better production of this play. I think he would soar. But it was undeniable that he was good in this role. But okay, so here's where it just gets so confusing. Lucky, played by Michael Patrick Thornton, is in a wheelchair. Now, I'm assuming that the actor is unable to walk and in a wheelchair for a reason. I'm assuming that. I can't see any other reason for this choice. And I think it's great to give people with disabilities an opportunity to play these roles. But it made no sense in this production. And in fact, I thought if anyone was going to be in a wheelchair, it should be Pozzo. Because Pozzo then is commanding, he has like this person who he's ordering around. He could be like when he goes forward, stop. These are lines he says. It makes more sense if he's sitting in the wheelchair and he's like forward, stop, backward, stop. Then it would make sense, right? Here, none of it made sense to me because there was no rope around his neck, yet the dialogue is there about the rope and we're pantomiming, but he never pulls on the rope. All of the carrots and turnips that they're supposed to be eating are pantomimed. The bags that Lucky's supposed to be carrying are not even pantomimed. They talk about the bags, but I'm like, what bags? There's no bags. And no one's pantomiming bags. I was just confused by this choice. And I feel like Jamie Lloyd looked at this play and said, well, it's already kind of a confusing play. It can kind of already be about anything. So let's push that even further. Let's make it so confusing that no one in the audience will have an idea of what's going on. And people who have never seen this play before will just be like, what are we watching? But yay, we're getting to see Bill and Ted, so yay, we're going to laugh and applaud. The only thing that I'm going to jump back to the set. The only thing that I kind of liked about the set, again, this may have been a cheap laugh, but I actually did enjoy it, is the second act when they fall down and they're having trouble getting back up. The curved sides of the set were effective in them trying to get back up on this curved surface. It did add some physical comedy. I did laugh a few times during this play, but not as much as I should be laughing. All right, have I said my piece? Oh my gosh, I could go on forever about all the things that irked me. I mean, and it was really hard when the play started. Oh gosh, the play starts, before even the play even starts, they're playing really loud music that I think was getting louder as we got to 5 minutes after the hour when the play actually started. It was so loud. The ushers were trying to yell at us, I assumed to turn down our cell phones. Couldn't hear them. I was like almost thinking, should I take my earplugs out? I hate loud intro music, pre-show music, especially when we're going to be watching a quiet play where people are going to be talking to each other in soft voices. Why are you getting my ears ready for a concert or a rave when I need to be listening to dialogue? And that was the effect. They start speaking and I'm like, oh, what are they saying? What are they saying? Missed the few lines because you're having to adjust from being bombarded by music. This made me completely angry, so I'm already in a mood. So maybe I didn't enjoy the play because everything was irking me about this play. And I started in a good mood. This was matinee, the sun was shining. It was nice and warm out. I was very happy to go to the theater. I was like riding my city bike, happy to go. And so then that irked me. Then the pipe, I was like, okay, we'll go with the pipe. But then the actors started speaking. I think someone told them louder, faster, funnier. I mean, they weren't really loud. They were amplified loud, but they started doing their dialogue really in this cadence. It was like which can be funny, but not when it's done constantly. I just felt like I was listening to a machine. And Keanu's, I said this when I saw The Matrix. Keanu is the kind of actor who you surround with really good actors, and then they tell you what Keanu's feeling because he's kind of a blank slate. Like I think of Neo in The Matrix, where Lawrence Fishburne comes in and says, you're a person who questions your reality. You're a person who doesn't know if what around him is really real, or whatever the speech is. And listening to it, I went, oh, that's what he's feeling. Because looking at Keanu in The Matrix, I have no idea what emotions this man is feeling. But then these other characters come in and they tell us what he's feeling. Keanu, for some reason, is likable. And the way he looks in this, I love how he looks for Estragon. He looked gaunt and pale and thin, and the scruffy beard and the ill-fitting costume. He looks great for the part. And some of his line deliveries and that kind of lackadaisical way of speaking that Keanu does so well, sometimes they're really funny when he drops a line like that. But that only takes me so far if you're just playing that one note. Sorry, Keanu, I think you're a sweet guy and a great guy, but gosh. And so Alex is doing his best, but again, I think he's a good actor, but I haven't seen him in anything a long time. Maybe their chemistry is great in Bill and Ted, but here I wasn't feeling the chemistry. I wasn't feeling it. Oh gosh, guys. So then when the wheelchair came in with we're talking about me getting angry and angrier. When the wheelchair came in, I got really angry because it made no sense. Because he's saying forward, back, forward, and he's pushing the chair. And Pozzo's servant or slave even is Lucky. Lucky should be pushing him. I'm like, why do you push? And Lucky is wearing like a BDSM gimp kind of looking sex club mask. Like he's a sex toy. My mind was like, what are we doing here? yeah, cast a person in a chair, but not this role. So I was just angry at Jamie Lloyd for all of these choices. So, that anger is what kept me awake for the first act, because I was bored and I was confused. And if I didn't have to make these videos, I guess I don't have to, but if I didn't know I was going to make this video, I would have left it intermission because I was so annoyed by this production. Shame on me for having seen a good production of Waiting for Godot, which is how Ian McKellen pronounced it as well. All right, so yeah, furious about that, furiously about the pantomiming. When Didi gives Gogo the carrot, part of the humor is that he's eating a carrot on stage. There's something funny about eating a carrot, but he's pantomiming it. I mean, he was making nice chewing sounds. It sounded like he was eating a carrot, but it's the visual of eating a carrot is funny. I just feel like the visual of the rope, the visual of the bags, there's so much physical comedy. And they tried to do a minimalist physical comedy, like when Lucky is supposed to dance. I don't want to give it away because maybe you'll find it funny, but it was funny for half a second. And I was like, oh God, where are we going with this? Other things, the big monologue that Lucky has was not fast enough for my taste. And then there's so much humor with the hat, with him being like when I've seen it before, the hat is like an on and off button and he talks so fast and then he just basically collapses. None of that happened here. He's already in a wheelchair, so he couldn't really collapse. Maybe if he would have slumped forward, it would have been something. And then they're talking about, is he dead or whatever? And it's like, no, he's fine. So much of the dialogue, the dialogue is already difficult to understand, but okay, now I'm Lucky. I'm a broken record. Okay, take my hat off. All right, guys, I have gone on forever about this play. So let me wrap this up best I can, because I don't even know if I'm going to edit this video, because this is just me getting this. This is therapy. You're my therapist. Thank you. Thank you for being my therapist. All right, Waiting for Godot. Or Waiting for Godot. Waiting for God. Is playing at the Hudson Theatre. The set design is really cool. The lighting is really cool. The feller, Brandon Jay Durden, is great as Pozzo. I just wish he was in a better production of this. Alex Winters is doing his darndest. Keanu is doing Keanu. And Patrick Thornton, I just feel like was not cast right as Lucky. The little boy is good. The little boy. Like the little boy. He was good. Costuming I enjoyed. Okay, so if you want to see Bill and Ted, if you want to see Jamie Lloyd's vision, then go check out Waiting for Godot. If you love this play or have never seen this play, I wouldn't recommend this production of it for you. I would recommend going to the archives at the Theater at Lincoln Center, which I may need to do to purge this from my brain, and watching a production of Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, or I don't know if I've ever seen the full production of Steve Martin and Robin Williams. I think I'm gonna go to the library and go watch the full production. Bill Irwin is also in that as Lucky, and I think it's F. Murray Abrams as Pozzo. It's an amazing cast. I'll have to check to see if that was right. Anyhow, if you made it this far, thank you for listening to my therapy session. I appreciate it very much. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. All right, I will see you at the next one. Bye.
Engage, keep me amused with what's in front of me, 'cause I don't wanna be bored and confused.